let's talk about a movie I saw at the theater over the weekend.
Hold on, let me. Yeah, there we go. Let me just say this about this movie. Based on the trailers, I have no desire to see this movie. It just feels like the way it's set up. It just feels like it's hey, let's justify why environmental terrorism is good, and it's like
It's okay. It builds its. Let me talk about how to blow up a
yeah,
pipeline. I saw it with a group of people on Saturday afternoon. It is currently playing in limited release in theaters. It's an indie film put out by Neon, same distributor who also put out films like Parasite, which won Best Picture. I believe it played at South by Southwest, and here it is now in wide release in theaters. It is about a group of climate activists who decide that what they're going to do is blow up key pieces of a pipeline in order to drive up the price of gas so that those in charge will choose to pivot away from fossil fuels. It stars no one you've ever heard of, so a lot of newcomers, people who've been bit parts in indie movies. An actor named Lucas Gage plays Logan. Ariella Bear plays Xochitl. Forrest Goodluck plays Michael. You meet them at the very beginning, and you just see them building a bunch of bombs. And they're being very careful with how they're building it. There could be accidents as you see their plan roll out, because you don't actually see what the plan is. You learn the backstories of each character and how they got together to pull this off. Because what they want to do is not only do they want to pull off blowing up the pipeline, but they also want to pull it off so not all of them go to jail. So they're being very careful. So it's in some ways it feels like a heist film, but it doesn't star anyone of note. They meet in the desert at this dirty, grungy like cabin where they live for several days while they begin to build the bombs and execute the plan. They've been planning even before that. They're being very careful not to use any smartphones of any kind. Even when you see in the flashbacks, you'll see when they have conversations, they turn up music and they put their phones in the refrigerator. They're so paranoid about being exposed. And I found the beginning of the movie tiresome. As you begin to see each of the characters' stories unfold, I became much more invested because each of them has a motivation for wanting to be involved. One of the women, there's a female couple in a lesbian relationship, and one of the women as that part of that couple, she's dying of cancer, so she's gone just very dark in her world and wants to pull this off. That relationship really works. There's another couple you see other people. Why are they driven to do this? And as you're seeing the present day, you see each person's they give you not necessarily their origin story, but how they got to where they were and what their personal motivations are for why they're doing what they're doing. But here's the thing, while it's actually a very well-made heist film, very well done, no stars, so it's not like Brad Pitt is in this thing. There's not anyone really recognizable, or at least that I recognized. But I'm looking at this, and it is from the point of view of domestic terrorists. And the movie is incredibly sympathetic towards domestic terrorism. There is a discussion between some of the characters about hey, this is going to really affect poor people, because it's going to drive up the price of gas. It's going to affect a lot of people in a negative way. And so there is a little bit of that, but not really enough. There weren't, there are police detectives that become involved later. I don't want to get into spoilers or anything that happens in the second half. I will say it's just expertly pulled off as it's sort of part heist film, but it's also in a way, I felt this movie is kind of irresponsible, because these terrorists are the heroes. It's kind of like, I hate to say this, it's like Antifa, the movie, where Antifa are the heroes. So I have moral issues with any recommendation of this film. If I judge it as a movie, just judging it as a film, it's a very well-made heist, crime, suspense thriller, excellently pulled off, really good performances by unknowns. Having said that, I philosophically I'm looking at this movie. It feels like propaganda. It feels like straight up propaganda. So I could recommend it as a movie. I cannot endorse the message of the movie. Does that make sense? And there
Yeah,
you go. That's my thought on How to Blow Up a Pipeline. Alan, any comments?
yeah. I mean, we do have a review of it on the website. It's from Abhishek Sharma. Gave it an 8 out of 10. I think he felt the same way. It was, the 8 comes from the performances on the screen as opposed to necessarily the message of the movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure that it's sold me. And I think I feel similar to the way you do in terms of it feels more lectury than it is a drama.
It's not there are parts that get lectury, but there are people that are there to kind of like contrast it. So but yeah, so was it a good film? If I judge it as a film, it's a very good film. Does it have a message that I can endorse? No. So my recommendation to you is probably a pass.